Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here. Going to do a quick review of my Kareen High Power that I just picked up. Now the Kareen High Power is basically an Israeli clone of a Browning High Power. This gun was either a military pistol or it was a police pistol. I'm not exactly sure. I got it off a gun broker for $419. So pretty good deal for a Browning High Power clone. This one was probably made like in the 70s or so. I'm not exactly sure because they don't have a whole heck of a lot of information on these guns out there. But it is an Israeli produced gun, and from what I can read here, it was imported by Century Arms International, which is like the biggest importer of guns in the United States, or maybe even in the world. But yeah, it's basically a clone of one of the older Browning High Powers. This is a, from what I understand, a Mark I Kareen. There's a Mark II and a Mark III, which I'm not exactly sure what all the differences are, but I do know that the newer ones, like the Mark II and Mark III, they're more blocky. They're like an Arcus pistol, or at least the Mark IIIs are. But from what I understand, this is a Mark I, and I do really like this appearance. I do like the low profile military sights. I'm not a big fan of those big adjustable sights that you see on some of these Browning High Powers and other guns. They just seem like ridiculously large on the gun, like it's a little unnecessary. Now these may be a little too low profile for like good accuracy shooting, but they're good enough for me. I mean, this isn't like a go to war pistol or anything like that. It's just kind of a plinker for me, and it's really just a project gun for me. So I mean, as you can see, you can probably see anyway, that it's missing some bluing, and looks like it had been pitted at one point in time. And of course, these grips are not the best grips. They're just kind of cheap plastic grips. They say Kareen on them. But the idea that I had in mind when I bought this pistol was that I was going to have it cerakoted like a chrome, like a hard chrome look, to look like some of those Browning High Powers that actually are hard chrome. And those guns, the ones that came from the factory like that, had these Pachmayr wraparound grips. Now, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to use for grips for this. I'm definitely ditching these, and I'm probably going to ditch the original screws that are in there because they look really rusty and kind of, like, it doesn't look like there's much hope for those screws, so I'm probably just going to replace them. They're not that expensive anyway. But I do have these Pachmayr Renegade grips. These are hardwood, well, not hardwood, but a laminate wood, like a rosewood type grip. And I actually put them on, and they don't exactly fit, or at least this side here with the mag release doesn't fit too well. So I don't know if I'm either gonna try to make these fit, like fit them to the gun itself, or if I'm just gonna go with a different grip. I might go with those Pachmayr wraparound grips that you see on the hard chrome models. And they're not that expensive, but I mean, that's an option. And I could go for a different wood option as well. I mean, there's all kinds of different options for grips on a Kareen High Power or Browning High Power. So I'm just not exactly sure what I'm going to do there. And again, it's just your basic Browning High Power. It does hold open on the last round. It is single action only. It is a it has a magazine disconnect, which I think is stupid, but that's just the way that guns were made back then. The high powers anyway. One thing I do think is interesting is that even though it does have a magazine disconnect, the magazine itself drops free. And that's not something you usually see on a gun with a magazine disconnect. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It is a 13 round magazine, which is your standard high power capacity magazine. Browning High Power was, I believe, the first successful double stack detachable magazine pistol that was produced by John Browning and some other guy from FN, like Saeed or something. I don't know what his name was. But, you know, they designed this pistol, and in my opinion, this is one of the greatest pistols that was ever made. And again, this is one of the older looking ones, so you have your standard spur hammer, your standard sights, which I like. I mean, they're not the best sights, but I'd rather have these kind of sights than those big giant adjustable sights. Has the low profile standard safety, which can only be activated when the hammer is cocked, and this is a pistol that you carry cocked and locked, much like a 1911. And really the only other thing is this goofy lanyard loop. It's like a key ring, basically, and it, you know, it's just this little like stud at the bottom, which is kind of weird because usually that stud is right here on the side where this little cutout is in the grips. This is the first time I've seen one where it just comes straight off the bottom. So I don't know, I may keep this ring, I may take it off, I don't know. I mean, it's not like the biggest thing in the world. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. I will do videos updating you on the you know, the project gun aspect of it. I think I'm gonna clean it up, get all the rust off of it, you know, if there really is any rust. I mean, it looks like it's all just wear. I mean, there might be a little rust on there, but you know, clean it up and put a box or two of ammo through it just to see how good it shoots, and then you know, take it apart, send the frame and slide off to be cerakoted. I might send off the controls later on and have them cerakoted black, but I think for now I'm just going to leave them blued. And if they weren't too worn down like they kind of are, I would just leave them blued. But you know, it's quite a bit more money to have the controls cerakoted a different color. If it was the same color, it wouldn't be that bad, but since it's a different color that I want, it's gonna be like $40 more plus the cost to actually do it. So that's kind of weird. Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to point out was on these Kareen high powers, or at least, you know, the ones like the one I got, have this kind of like, they call this the pig nose barrel bushing here. You know, it's all part of the slide, but it's like an extended barrel bushing that holds the barrel in place. It's not like, you know, super huge or anything, but not all Browning high power style pistols have that. I thought that was kind of interesting, and it's a little bit ugly, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be based off of the pictures that I saw on Gunbroker. So, you know, I can live with it. But yeah, for $419 for a good high power clone, I thought it was a good deal. And again, this is like the most expensive handgun I ever bought, you know, so for like 420 bucks for being the most expensive handgun I ever bought, considering how many handguns I actually own, that's pretty good. But anyway, I've been talking about this for a long time, so subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm Redneck Mini 14, and until next time, be safe.